Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk, NFTs, crypto, and Web3. I'm your host, Asia the Bird. To have a very special guest with me today. She's the founder of Brava NFT. Please welcome Crypto Dragonis. Hello, Dragonis. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be with you.
Hello, hello, hello. Great to meet you. Now, I want to go ahead and get started by asking where you're originally from and how'd you get started into NFTs and Web3?
I'm originally from Singapore, and I've been living out in Dubai, the UAE, for about 11 years right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I started my NFT journey about a couple of years ago, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, probably very different from a lot of people because a lot of people I think started trading or buying NFTs sometime around last year when they heard the
Mm-hmm.
news about the $69 million NFT that was sold by Beeple, etc. And then there was a lot of hype about NFTs and
Mm-hmm.
artwork. But
Mm-hmm.
I did not even know about Opensea when I first started actually buying NFTs. I was buying NFTs from the Tezos chain in a marketplace called Hic Nunc, which
Mm-hmm.
means in Latin, here and now. So I was really looking for an art piece for my bedroom, something that was unique, something that was one of its kind, and an art piece where I could actually talk to the artist and know the artist. So
Right.
obviously, this is not something that you could get from IKEA or online. That
Right.
probably would be an art piece that hundreds of people would own. So then I started actually Googling about a one of a kind art piece that I could afford, affordable one of a kind art piece. And that's
Mm-hmm.
how I chanced upon the world of NFTs. And I
Mm-hmm.
was so excited when I found the Tezos platform, Hic Nunc, and I was buying a bunch of stuff. And I think months from then on was when I got acquainted with OpenSea and Ethereum blockchain and buying NFTs from there. So yeah, it sounds like it's been like years since I've started doing it, but it's just
Mm-hmm.
been last year, and it's crazy. That's what's crazy about the NFT space.
Wow, that's really, really crazy. That's really, really cool. But I definitely want to also get into your experience in broadcasting. What has been your experience with that?
Yeah, so most of my life, I think about 15 years I spent in broadcasting and advertising. So it's just been about a year that I've really been in Web3 full time.
Mhm.
Um, but I think one of the things that really drew me into broadcasting and advertising was I love storytelling. I love talking to
Mhm.
people. I love simplifying stuff. And that's what I've always been doing. So I started my career in Singapore. Um I was already part-timing in a television studio in a television production house when I was in the university back then, and I was a
Mhm.
production assistant for a documentary series. And then I became the script writer for the same series, and then the producer, the assistant producer, and then the executive producer. And I also went into the radio business. So I've been
Mhm.
working in television and radio across about three countries, three, four
Wow.
countries. Yeah. For most of my life, and when I realized that actually it's not the showbiz that I actually love, it's really about communicating stories to people and
Right.
about simplifying stories. That's when I
Mhm.
went into advertising, because advertising is about that.
Right.
Any kind of complicated concept, is there a way you can simplify it for your audience, and is there
Right.
a way that you can tell stories in an interesting manner that really appeals to the people, right? So
Right.
when I went into that, I think Web3 was a very natural progression, because essentially that's what you're doing,
Right.
but in a way that's a little more, I would say, where we kind of pull the future towards us.
Mhm.
So that's what excited me. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's really, really amazing. But I also want to get into Brava NFT. So, what got you started with Brava NFT? But also, too, like, what was like the mission and goal behind it?
Yeah, so when I did mention that I was in advertising for a long time. So
Mhm.
when I learned about the world of NFTs and how NFT communities can actually impact what we are doing in a different way,
Mhm.
I got some of my colleagues from my previous agencies, advertising agencies that I worked with, and I said, "Wow, you're a brilliant designer. You're an animator." So this person I'm talking about, he is originally from Mexico, and he was working in the UAE.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and he had already actually created the character called Brava.
Mm.
And this was essentially a character not created for the NFT space, but a pre-existing character that he had created to as part of the merchandise, uh, t-shirts and hats, etc., and taking the proceeds of selling of the merchandise to support organizations
Mm-hmm.
that empower women. So I said, why not? We joined forces and we tried to bring this Brava character to the Web3 space to as an
Mm-hmm.
NFT project. And in that way, it won't be just one character. Then we can have multiple characters, and then people can actually own Bravas, and they can also be part of a larger mission, part of a cause. And this is the way that they can support the mission as well as get introduced to the world of NFTs. And that's just the story how Brava started.
Mm. Wow, wow. How many like Brava NFTs are there altogether?
So Brava is a very humble collection. You would you would find only 500 pieces of Brava. Each Brava is unique. Each Brava is different.
Mm.
They're all, we call them cyberpunk Amazonas. They are unique in a way that they're very different from so many other NFT projects, or at least female PFPs, profile
Mm.
picture projects. But more than seeing them as a collection of PFPs, we see them as a mission focused project. So, what makes Brava different? And I think you ask any NFT project, everyone's going to say that their NFT project is unique. But with Bravas, we made sure that the collection is only 500 pieces, which is a
Right.
very, very small connection compared to so many other collections, which are like 10,000 is the norm, right? 9,000, 10,000, 20,000. That's kind of the
Right.
norm. But we wanted to keep the collection very small only because we wanted people who are really interested in the topics of gender-based violence, of sexual violence, and domestic violence to be part of the project. So it's
Right.
not for people who want to buy something and they're looking at it at being in it for a short term of flipping the project, but really as a membership of something that seals you as a person who
Mm-hmm.
really cares about the cause. And that's what the project is all about. So what we do is we've partnered with a charity organization in Mexico called Fondo Semillas. The artist is also from Mexico, and they have been doing phenomenal work for decades, helping women in South America, helping them through the trauma of gender-based violence to prevent such cases from happening, creating awareness campaigns, and working with so many other organizations that actually are part of this cause as well. If you look at South America, some of the countries there, you keep reading about them in the news, and for many reasons, and not reasons to be proud of, with regards to the number of sexual violence and
Mm-hmm.
domestic violence cases happening. Uh, a lot of girls and women from Mexico and South America try to flee from the situation that's happening there.
Right.
But what happens during the course of their transit from South America to so many other countries is so many girls and women go missing, and
Mm-hmm.
they could be abducted, they they could become victims of sexual violence, and that's what Fondo Semillas is also trying to stop. So to take care of them in trying to educate them, trying to give them employment opportunities and housing, etc. So Brava has partnered with them, and we are proud to have done so. But on the other end, we are also trying to help a lot of women and men understand about Web3 and how the space can help you in being part of a cause, not just as a person who had donated to something and that's it, right? But being part of a
Right.
community where you can continue to be an active participant. So we've recently launched the Brava Soldier program. So anybody who owns a Brava NFT character, and owning a Brava NFT character is not expensive. We have kept the price, the floor price, intentionally low, so you
Mhm.
have it's easy access to be part of an NFT project if it's your first NFT project. And 70% of Brava holders are actually people who have bought NFTs for the first time. So we do the entire hand holding process, educating people about NFTs, about Web3. How do you open a wallet? What are NFTs all about? How do you actually have access Discord and
Right.
participate in this kind of basic stuff,
Right.
which is very powerful in getting people having fun in the space. But at the same time, also getting them to understand how you can actually be part of a bigger mission by being part of Web3. So that's one of the other things that we're doing as well.
Mm. And that's really cool because, you're not only about like the artwork, and the artwork is pretty cool. I like how each character has like their own uniqueness, and showing that, imperfection is beautiful as well. But also too, I like how with the collection as well, like how you just touched on with it being, for a cause in regards to domestic violence and things like that. So that's something that's very, very, cool to really see. Like, some of these NFT projects are really not only just making the artwork, but it's deeper than that. It's really like donating to a cause that means so much.
Yeah, and we really want people to feel that, this is an example I give a lot of people in a form of a metaphor. I think getting into an NFT community is the NFT itself is just the technology. We're really not talking about the artwork. It's not about the GIF or the GIF, or it's not about the JPEG.
Right.
It's really about the technology that's behind it. And I think we're so early in the space that there's so much more evolving that has to be done. But apart from
Right.
that, if you want to be a part of a community in Web3, there's a lot of involvement. So it's not just about, it's like getting into a gym membership, right? It's
Right.
not just about, buying a membership and then thinking that you would become a healthier person. You need to put in the work. So yes, you
Right.
spend money in getting that membership. So that's number one, step one, done. Great, congratulations. But then if you want to really get into the entire journey and get, take advantage of the entire membership experience, then you
Right.
need to go there every day. You need to put in the work. Maybe you need to speak to the your trainer, get some individual whatever steps that you need to lose weight or get fit or whatever that you want to do. But at the same time, there could be a smoothie bar in the gym that could be giving you discounts for getting those smoothies, so you want to take advantage of that. There could be
Hmm.
some other people who are like-minded in the cafe over there. You want to start a conversation with them that could benefit you in so many other ways. So this is what we talk about when you talk about being part of an NFT community. It's not just about buying a membership and keeping the Brava in your wallet. You want to
Right.
come in there, you're going to participate. We might be giving giveaways. You want to take advantage of that. We might be giving opportunities where you can earn back the amount of money or more than that that you spent buying a Brava. Or you could actually build relationships and network by being part of the Discord. And that part is what a lot of people miss out on, right? Because they think
Mhm.
that just buying the NFT is you flipping and making a profit, and that's about it. But no, there's so many layers to it. We want to tell people about it and encourage them to take advantage of as well.
Right, is right, exactly. Because one of my questions is, what are some things that people struggle with when starting to get into the NFT space? But I like how you touched on that because you know you would think like, okay, you just put out NFT, you make money, okay, there you go. But it's like, okay, well, it's deeper than that. It has to be something that really draws the audience's eye to like, hey, why do we need to buy your NFT? Like, why do we need to support your NFT? So I like how with other collections now, it's not just about, like I said there again, putting out the artwork. It has to be something that really, really sticks out, to the audience as to why they, to support you.
Yeah, and I think people can get into NFT projects for different reasons.
Hmm.
It's okay if you want to get into an NFT project because you think it's some sort of an investment, just like about 100 years ago, people were buying gold and we're thinking, you can lock it up in your bank, or you're buying shares or stocks and all that. You want to look at NFTs in
Right.
that perspective. There's nothing wrong with it. But I really feel that utilities is something that's going to drive the NFT space forward
Yeah.
because, as I said, the NFT is a technology. When I used to work in advertising, we did a lot of research on automobile companies which were using NFTs for their own benefit. For example, Alfa Romeo, if I remember correctly, they've started infusing the technology of NFTs in their vehicles so that people, whoever who bought the next Alfa Romeo, is able to use the blockchain technology to see the service history of the car,
Right.
and how many hands it has changed, so on and
Hmm.
so forth. And it could possibly increase even the value of the car when one day you find out through it's there in the blockchain that a celebrity has owned it, for example, or this
Right.
is a car that is a special edition or something like that. In the
Right.
art world, we call it the provenance, right? That's what's important. It's not just about the art as well, but also the history that comes along with it. And there's a way that all of that is etched in the blockchain, and you can't
Exactly.
mess around with it, then that allows you to find out like different ways of how you can incorporate that into what you're offering. So with what Brava is doing, I would say it's a project for anybody who is interested in learning more about Web3 and NFTs, but don't
Right.
know where to start. They don't want to get overwhelmed about it. It's the
Right.
perfect kind of like starter project, but at the same time, it's also a great project if you're interested in a cause and a mission as serious as domestic sexual violence. You want to help end it, then it's for you as well. And also, speaking of the art of Brava characters, you want to go into the details as somebody who appreciates art. Each and every Brava character has got a star or a band, it's got a scar or a bandage or a band aid, and that's only because they're all survivors of, and we don't want to call them survivors, but they're really superheroes who have gone through sexual domestic violence. They're not using
Right.
this, they're not seeing their scars as a point of weakness. They're using it as superpowers to try to change whatever is coming for them in the future.
Yeah, right, most definitely. But I definitely want to switch gears and talk about women's empowerment. This leads me to this question. How important and vital is it to have not only women's representation, but women's empowerment in the Web3 space?
Well, you know what? I always think that when it comes to Web3, it kind of is a space that's built by engineers for engineers, but at the same time, I think that because the space was powered by it is still powered by crypto, right? It's based out of crypto, and
Right,
the banking sectors and the investment sector has always been kind of like uh, very male oriented. It's
right,
run by males, and this is how it is still today. So naturally, now that when we see the crypto space and the NFT space, there are more men than women. And I'm not just making this up, this is just the facts, and that's how it is because
right,
a lot of women started investing in crypto, and that's how they came into the Web3 and NFT space naturally.
right.
But at the end of the day, I think there is a huge opportunity for women in this space because women
Mhm,
naturally are great communicators. They don't oversell things, and even when they come to selling of stuff, they're more, they look at it with alignment with value and purpose and the nurturing culture. They want to share information. It's just inherent to being
mhm,
with, a woman. And it never is about self-centered leadership. It's about authentic leadership and recognizing people's potential. And I think as natural like nurturers, it just comes as soft skills that are natural to us. And for Web3 to move forward, for the NFT space to move forward, for projects to move forward, these are soft skills that are so necessary.
right.
And I don't see it as empowerment, but I think there is a huge space for us to succeed further and take this forward to more people. It just makes so much sense for the men and women to work together. Yeah.
Yeah, I could totally agree because you see certain NFT collections now, like World of Women, Power of Women, that are thriving in the Web3 and NFT space, and so many other women NFT collections. And I'm glad to see that growth because, it's good to have that representation. But also too, I definitely want to get into the future plans in regards to Brava NFT. So what is like your future plans for Brava NFT and what is something that people can expect?
When it comes to traditional industry, it's so easy to draw a roadmap for just like 6 months down the road, 9 months down the road, 2 years down the road, even 20 years down the road. I mean, that's how,
Mm,
traditional businesses have always operated. When you go to a bank to get a loan, they ask you, what's your future plan? What's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? It just
right.
doesn't work in the NFT space just because it's so
Mhm,
evolving at such quick speed. So who knows what's going to happen in the next couple of months? But what
right.
we do know for sure is what we're building with Brava is a brand that people can relate to, especially people who have always thought about this cause or something that want to be part of the mission. And statistics never lie. So we know
Mhm,
that 1 in 3 women at some point of their life have faced domestic and sexual violence. And it still
mhm,
is the fact that whether they're part of a developed nation or whether they're part of a developing nation,
mhm,
it's still the same, whether you're an empowered woman or whether you're not, whether you're somebody who has or leader in a company or whether you're somebody who has not even had the primary education, it still is the
mhm,
same. We want to stop that. We want to try to help end that. And we want to make sure that this conversation is easy to have and it's not something that you're afraid of and it's not something to shy away from. Recent research also shows that people who have undergone such violence, men or women, don't talk about it because it's an embarrassing topic. It's a difficult topic. We did a survey with 100 people before we even launched the project to try to
Hmm.
understand what people think about gender-based violence. A lot
Right.
of parents participated in the survey, and they mentioned that gender-based violence is a huge topic and it's important, but it's still a difficult topic to kind of difficult conversation to have with your kids. So they say that parents say that I send my daughters to a karate class, or or something to do with self-defense, etc. I don't tell them why, but I think it's important to protect themselves, because I can't talk to them about sexual or domestic violence. It's just so sensitive, and it's so dark, and and I don't want them to be afraid of the world. But at the same time, I feel it's important that they protect themselves from whatever evil is out there, and we want
Yeah.
to change that. It shouldn't be a difficult conversation. The conversation is not something to be made light of, but
Right.
with a project like Brava, it can be made lighthearted. It could be something that's infused in a day-to-day conversation, and that's what we are aiming towards.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, right. Most definitely. But also too, like mental health plays a huge part. I'm definitely sure with domestic violence, because that really, takes an impact not only with your physical, but also your mental and your, spiritually. You know what I mean? So I think what's also cool about the NFT Web3 space is also, incorporating mental health. Talking about meditation and, saying it's okay to get help. And that's something that's really, really amazing about this space.
Yeah, you're 100% right. The trauma that stays with somebody after they have gone through, if they're subject to some kind of a violence as such. And when
Right.
we say violence, it's so easy to just think about physical violence because that's more obvious and it's something that can be visually seen. But then there
Hmm.
is the mental and psychological violence that a lot of women and men go through as well. And I keep wanting to emphasize on the fact men do go through this as well, because recently I was in a space, in a Twitter space, with men from, there were about 200 men from Nigeria who were part
Hmm.
of the Twitter space. Government officials were part of that as well. There were police officers, and men who are undergoing domestic violence is huge.
Right.
They go through that, and for women who talk about it, it's really difficult. It's also very difficult for men to go and speak about it, because when they go to, let's say, the authorities to bring forth the matter or try to find protection, they are most often laughed at, like, we know the stories, right?
Right.
Men are not supposed to cry. I try and tell me you're getting beaten up by your wife. It's laughable at that's how society looks at it. But the trauma that goes through it doesn't just last through somebody's lifetime. It gets passed on through generations as well.
Right.
And that's something that we would like to address. We want to prevent it in the same place. Brava NFT is focusing on doing a lot of on-ground events, so it doesn't matter if you're in Web3 or NFT at all, but as
Right.
long as we as a project is using our network and the kind of I would say the resources that we have to power more of such events,
Mhm.
empowering holders of Brava to
Mhm.
go forth and organize such events. And we've already started that with the Brava Soldier program. It's something that we are proud of. So in the upcoming 3 to 4 weeks, we are launching another on-ground event that is really about um, finding what goes into finding your partner, or what really is love all about, or what does a proper partnership look like, and empowering yourself
Mhm.
so you can recognize relationships for what they are. Is an event that I literally am coming back from a meeting trying to organize that event. So yeah, very excited about that.
Yeah, that's really amazing. Last but not least, where can people find Brava NFT on social media?
We're on Twitter. We're very active on Twitter. So Brava NFT is where you look for in Twitter, and then you'd find us very easily. We are not very active on Instagram, but I think I'm going to change that as well.
Mhm.
Crypto Dragonis, that is me on Twitter. So you can always find me up. And if you're already in Web3 space, then we have a bunch of Discord activities that happen, all the time. We have a very strong, tight knit community who
Mm.
care about the cause, and that's where we have our conversations and we plan on ground events. You can also come into our Discord or Twitter to find out more about the Brava Soldier program to see how you can benefit and also be a contributor for the cause.
All right, thank you so much, Crypto Dragonis, for jumping onto the show. Your NFT collection is absolutely cool. I love what what it stands for. So yeah, just thank you so much. I had a very fun conversation.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And, love talking to people like you because at the end of the day, the past 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is, it ends up being a brainstorming session, right? We talk about stuff. The kind of questions that you ask me like picks my brain. And I love that. So thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, thank you. Take care.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hello, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also, follow me on my social media platforms and visit my website, asiaticbird.com, and be on the lookout for more interviews involving Web3, NFTs, crypto, and the metaverse.